It was a strange season last time out. We saw an incredible 7 winners in 12 rounds, and Friesche was not among them. In spite of that, he still brought home the championship by a scant 9 points. Will things be as open this season, or will someone begin to stand out as a more dominant force? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 1 of the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Pekin. With me in the booth is Ossian Puhaka. Behind the scenes is our director, Ryan Bauer, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. A driver and fan favorite, we kick things off at Spa. For the uninitiated, let's head to our track guide to learn more. Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. Less than an hour's drive east from the German border, this Belgian track has come to define racing for many different eras in the sport. It's no wonder it continues to entrance drivers when you look at the stats. The 7 kilometers over the course of a lap includes more than 330 feet in elevation change as it weaves its way through the Ardennes forest. Packed into this is 19 turns, some of which are considered among the most famous in the world of racing. Corners like La Source and Blanchement have been on the lips of drivers for decades. But by far the most notorious is Eau Rouge and Rétillon. Typically referred to and named by just the first section, it dips low and swings left, then compresses and climbs to the right up a massive hill. The sequence ends with a completely blind crest that sweeps to the left and leads onto the incredibly long Kemmel Straight. The bravery required to be fast through there will pay off towards one of the most popular passing spots at Lacombe. Eau Rouge is exemplary of the rest of the circuit though. Most of the turns are incredibly fast and many include much of that signature elevation change. As jaw-dropping as the track is, you have to remember that this is the modern truncated layout. The old one, raced until 1979, was 14 kilometers in length, yet carried an average speed of 150 miles per hour. Present-day safety measures do cut down on the danger, but even in recent history, the circuit has proven deadly. It's clear why this track continues to be revered and respected by racers the world round. Well, Ozzy, this place is well known by most race fans, but how are we expecting this to play out with the Lotus 79 today?
Well, Joe, it's gonna be super interesting. First race of the season, we got a tire update, so everybody's kind of having to settle in, find the groove with the tires with only a week of testing behind them. It's a super fast track. Everyone knows the track. That's not the problem here. But do everybody know the car? I think that's gonna lead to some very interesting situations, especially when Spa as a circuit isn't really one of the more forgiving ones, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it certainly has some high speeds around here, and if you're going off, you're probably going off in a big way. Now, as for the championship last season, as we mentioned, Gernot Friesche wound up the victor in that fight, but Pauli Partanen looked like he was coming on strong late in the season, so he managed to work his way up from third, overtaking Ove Trangrate. And Alex Millward was hot and cold. He took a few wins, but couldn't seem to keep consistency and didn't always show up. As he is here today. We'll see if he can start out on a good note in this season. But we also had the Teams Championship. Ozzy, why don't you run us down that?
Yeah, so the Teams Championship last season was won by the Arrows Racing team ahead of the Parmalat Brabham team and the Williams Racing team. And Renault as well, they were near the front consistently throughout the season. So it was a remarkably tight and close contest for the team championship. Then you got Ferrari in the same place that Ferrari is around this season actually, which is in 5th place.
Absolutely. And for today's race details, this is round 1 out of 12, as we've said, but it is only 21 laps that they are running around here. Big concern is the incidents. There you see at the bottom, 17 of them will get them a drive-through penalty and 25 will get them a disqualification. So you got to keep it within the bounds of the track, considering there's lots of paved runoff. It'll be easy to slip outside of that here today. And now we don't have our current champion shown up. Gernot Friesche is not here, so who will we see step up to the plate to start things off? As we're still waiting on the first lap times. It takes so long to get around here that no driver has set a competitive lap yet.
Yeah, not yet. They're waiting, and here we see Pauli Partanen on screens. He could be a good shout, and he's not gonna get a lap time yet because they're gonna have to round the La Source hairpin, and then because this is the classic layout, this is the one that was used in the 80s for a long time. Here is the start-finish straight, and the lap time is gonna be coming around here, just under the total bridge, and he's gonna get a 202.3 and find his way into second place at the moment, just behind Marko Kela. But yeah, Pauli Partanen, he's a good shout. He's someone who can definitely win races. Marko Kela, who's taken the provisional pole, he's definitely a very fast driver, both domestically and internationally. And if you look across the field, I'm expecting to see more from Loic Barbe. Kartik Pai might be a good shout. He's more known from maybe the Camel GT series and Lotus 49s, but he's a good shout to challenge for maybe top 5s. And then we got one interesting name. That's car number 6, Antti Levoska. He's someone who you wouldn't perhaps be so familiar with from international broadcasts or anything, but he's a finalist in Finnish Sim Racing in 2019. He's very good with open wheel cars, and he's a bit of a nomadic driver in a sense that he doesn't really do one series. He does the combos he likes and does the cars and tracks he likes, and if he has found a liking with Lotus 79, then look out.
Well, we love to see newcomers in this series, so
especially Finns.
Yeah, they love to come here often, it seems. As Seppa is our current pole sitter, has it by about a 10.5 over Marco. But Marco has abandoned his second lap, so he is not able to improve. It's 2/10 back to Alex Millward, who is still out there, able to try and top this one. But Seppa's moved over to the Renault team this season, picking up that torch. We'll see if he can carry on what Gernot was able to do last season, as we see the Finn now coming out towards Blanchimont. Just a couple more corners to go, and as Ozzy was just saying, they're not going to be finishing the lap here through the bus stop. They have to go around the source and finish it on the downhill.
Yep, so the slow corners are going to be really crucial to your lap time. You see the bus stop here. Severi not quite hitting the curb on the inside. He's choosing to avoid that instead, and you can see how much the car is moving around. He's having to counter steer as they come to the what is current main straight, 10 around La Source. Expect to see more of that here, where he's going to be a little bit tentative turning it in. No, he actually got it turned in nicely, and then a very good exit. I was trying this out earlier, and that's what I was struggling the most with. But let's see the time here. Oh, that's a good one, but not improving.
And Millward does look like he's on a quicker one. It's a 2:02.114, but that's not enough to get him a position. He'll stay in third, just a couple hundredths quicker. Everybody has at least one lap in, thankfully, so we've got at least something representative for the entire field. Havdal currently in 22nd. It is a popular race today, too, we should point out. This is quite really the best of the best. 3 splits today that drivers are competing in. So this is a stacked field out there.
It absolutely is, and you can see that on the times as well. We're seeing some really tight gaps. Just if you look at half a second as the benchmark, you got 9 drivers within half a second on a racetrack that is 7 kilometers long. It's over a 2-minute lap, and you got drivers within half a second all the way from Severi Seppa to Teemu Vaskilampi in 9th place. Under 202.5, you got Philip Lake to add to that list. He's doing very well in 10th position. Within a second, you got 17 drivers. You got 17 drivers within 1 second out of the 25 driver field. This is not just stacked, this is an all-star race.
I'm looking forward to this being the season opener. Let's go through the grid now that they've finished qualifying. Seppa on the pole with Kayla in second place. Costa starts in third, followed by Millward, able to be on the outside of row 2. De Turk in fifth, followed by Torp in sixth. Then you've got Partanen on the inside of the next row. Ove Trangrade a little bit far down, starting in 8th today. Vaskilampi is 9th, and Lake returns once again within the top 10.
And then you got an all-Finnish 6th row with Mikko Leino and Jukka Tolonen. Timothy Reed starting 13th, Paul Williams 14th, Benoit Daisy 15th, Alessandro Parigi 16th. Then it's Dylan Freckleton, Javier Ramos, Kartik Pai and Sebastian Morin rounding out the top 20.
Lavoska starts in 21st with Hovdal in 22nd, then it's Barba in the 23rd spot. Seiverts starts P24. Antonio Reese joins us after hopping over from the Formula V, starting from the last on this top split. We'll see how he handles a much faster car with a lot more downforce here today. And as you can see, it is pretty ideal conditions, even though it is just about noon here in Belgium. It's quite cool out on the track at only 76 Fahrenheit, which comes out to 24 Celsius for our metric friends. Just a few more drivers waiting to grid up, looking to take the entry down into Eau Rouge without having to navigate through La Source. So thankfully should be a little bit less of a mess through there, since they should have separated some by the time they approach that corner. You giggle, but at least it'll be better than normal, we should say.
Yeah, 25 cars going too wide. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, as we come down with the lights up, green flag is out, and Seppa gets a good start. Not so from Marco, but he starts to pull ahead of Costa in the second part. Looks like this is a horrible start from Millward as he falls backwards down into 7th, up and over the hill. Looks like most everybody's trying to play it safe, but we do have an incident. I see Ramos, Morin, and Daisy out on the Radillion. And we got side by side up at the front. Marco is trying to challenge, and he's going to be able to take the lead. No, he's going to go wide into the grass.
Not in front of everybody, and Seppa had to take avoiding action, and he lost a lot of places. Juanmi Costa is now finding himself in the second place, right on the tailpipes of Marco Kela. So that was a big wiggle right at the start with cold tires. We were expecting some struggles, but they happened maybe later than we anticipated. So it's going to be Kela and Costa and the Turk now finding himself in third place.
And Millward. Oh no, behind them before they got to Speaker's Corner, a giant wreck in the field. And incredibly, I thought Marco would have had a slowdown penalty by now, but he's still ahead of Costa. We're going to look at a replay here. This is the wreck with, and unfortunately, Millward just an innocent victim in that one.
Yeah, Thomas Torp spun out, exiting the previous corner, and there was absolutely nothing Millward could do. So Thomas Torp went onto the AstroTurf on the exit. His car just bottomed out on the curb, and then Millward was just a victim. Nowhere the Englishman could sadly go.
All right, let's breathe, center your chi, let's reset and get back to the race as Marco is going to continue to lead this thing. I still don't know how he didn't get a slowdown penalty in that, or if he did, that it wasn't enough that he suffered from it. And Juanmi Costa is chasing with Michael the Turk now up into third. Teemu looks like he has gone off recently as well.
Yeah, so Teemu, his race not starting well at all, and we're gonna see a lot of shuffles here, especially as we come to lap 2, and this is what I'm gonna be interested about. We see a lead pack of about 5 cars pretty close to each other. How are they going to fare going into the Kemmel Straight for the first time at proper racing speeds? Who's gonna pick up the draft and who's gonna be the fastest? We'll see here soon, Joe, as Juanmi Costa is already starting to get closer to Marco Kela.
Well, he's got a nice little draft, and Seppa is thinking about it. He shows his nose and comes back to the racing line. Costa also going to stick with it. No pass amongst our top 5. Behind them, got a little bit of a challenge between Paul Williams and Parigi, but that also won't change position. But surprised we didn't see more attempts there into the first corners. We get quite a bit of cloud cover here coming through Rivage.
Yeah, and sadly we have no rain on iRacing just yet, because normally clouds coming in at Spa would mean bring out your umbrellas, because it's gonna be raining cats and dogs about a lap later. You never know what the weather is going to be like at the Ardennes Mountains. But yeah, looking at slightly a different thing, I'm looking at risers and fallers to the first lap. We saw what happened to Millward, Thomas Torp, Uwe Trengeride and Teemu Vaskilampi as well. They're all in the back of the field. And Jukka Tolonen started 12th. He's now at 6th place. Paul Williams started 14th. He's now at 8th. And Alessandro Paregi started 16th. He's now at 10th.
You see Jukka on your screen. So a good day for him, but he's still being chased by Leno behind him as they come up towards Blanchimont. And yeah, retirees are those 4 that was listed by Ozzy, unfortunately, already out of this race. Down into the bus stop. Boy, the top field is still tightly packed. The 5 leading the race are split by all of 2 seconds between them.
Yeah, and the draft, you get the draft from around 0.6 of a second away, maybe 0.7 of a second, but half a second is where you get the proper draft. Or thereabouts. Let's see if Juan Costa can come a little bit faster through the Rouge Radion complex this time. He had to lift a little bit last time due to the dirty air and the heaviness of the car. Once again losing a bit of time there, but not as much as last time around. And here on the uphill straight, 1 kilometer long, you're gonna really see him catch up. But he's not holding on to the inside line. Marco is just holding on to the inside. And Juanmi is actually getting out of the draft. He doesn't really want to catch up to Marco just yet. And I think he's trying to send a signal. And that signal is, hey, there's no point for us to battle yet. We're at lap number 3. It's a 21-lap race, and there goes Costa. Didn't hit anything.
Can he somehow manage to stay out of the wall? He falls back to 5th. I thought for sure that he banged into it. That was magnificent reaction time from him.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a replay of that very soon, because Juan Costa just had one of those bring me my brown pants moments.
Love to see the onboard from this one at some point. There we get, here's the angle from his perspective. Wow. Oh, and very little correction from him too. Just one little weave to the left, and then he just brings it casually back to the track.
Yeah, he's like, you know, I didn't fancy that 2nd place anyway. I'm rather gonna be in 5th place, following Pauli. Nice and easy, you know. Nothing to worry about there.
Nothing to be concerned about, just back to your stations. As it looks like Marco going to take advantage of that mistake to pull himself up to a 2nd away from De Turk now. So he's getting an ever better gap for himself in this event. After starting on the front row, he could steal this win away.
Yeah, it's really a time for him to now put in those lap times, crushing those lap times. The last thing he wants is that pack to catch up to him. And in that pack, I've been in a draft pack quite a lot in my life. And from what I can tell is that it's a really anxious time for the guys like Severi Seppa, for the Pauli Partanen, for example, because Severi is now gouging. He's gouging, okay, how fast is Michael De Turk? Is he fast enough to catch up to Marco Kela? Last time around, no. He lost 0.2 of a second, had to maybe avoid Juan Costa. That could be a reason, but Severi Seppa is now thinking about an overtake and looking for an overtake around the outside, and I think the Turk is gonna battle that one, so they're gonna lose even more time.
Seppa's not going to be able to take it, so it grows to about 1.2 seconds now between themselves and the leaders. And he's got to watch out, because they still have Partanen and Costa back there. I'm sure they're going to be eager to try and pounce if those two continue to fight side by side.
Yeah, they are, and that's gonna lead to even more battling. So that is exactly what Marco Kela wants to see in his mirrors, because this race is right now being handed to Marco Kela on a silver platter. Of course, Marco still has to keep his car between the white lines. He has to still avoid making mistakes, but he can now relax a little bit, find his pace, make that gap, and then realize that, okay, those guys are gonna be fighting for 2nd place. And Joe, that's really a mental thing too, as we are on board with Philip Lake right now. That's really a mental thing too, in a sense that once the guy leading the chasing pack realizes that he may not have a chance to catch up, and once those battles start happening, then those guys get into a battling mindset instead of a catching mindset. And that's exactly what you need in a breakaway.
For a brief moment, that was Lake trying to chase down Parigi, but we're back to the leaders, the fight for 2nd place. Wow, brave stuff from De Turk, chopping off Seppa, just inches to spare between that nose and the gearbox of 2nd and 3rd place.
Yeah, and here you saw Severi Seppa getting a little bit sideways at the bus stop chicane as well. We talked about earlier how difficult this car is in the slow corners, and I think you have news from Philip Lake. Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, he unfortunately, and that was a separate incident. That was Reese that you saw spinning, but Lake actually made contact with Parigi, managed to get side by side into the bus stop. And you're going to see here as they go wheel to wheel, it unfortunately does not wind up good for either of them. Oh.
you have to always leave a space. That's all I can say about it. And unfortunately, no space was left, and that's going to be the end result of it.
That's been a hot topic in open wheel racing lately, as there you see the spin from Reese, who's doing quite good before that. He was up to 17th, lost a couple spots, has certainly gained a few from attrition. As now we see Partanen, who is trying to challenge Turk, who did get passed by Seppa. I think this happened into Lacombe, and Seppa has checked out. My goodness, he is just off into the distance.
Yeah, and what happened was that the Turk was seeing that they're not going to catch up to the leader, so he was really avoiding Seppa more than anything. He went to the inside right after Rodion and basically said to Seppa that go ahead man, take the position, and Seppa was like thank you very much, and now Seppa can go after Marko Kela, his countryman. Meanwhile, Pauli Partanen is trying to make it a finish 1, 2, 3. The problem is he's got Michael de Turk right in front of him, and also what Partanen doesn't want to happen here is that de Turk is gonna end up as a roadblock for him, and de Turk in turn has to just stop bleeding and losing positions. But is he gonna look to the outside of Blanchimont? No, he's not. He's finished, but he's not crazy.
He's still sticking with it. De Turk's going to defend. And Partanen is going to be able to get side by side briefly, but he breaks early, slots in behind him. He knows the deal in this style of racing. He'll get better chances later as they accelerate off of the bus stop. He is still well within range, and look at this. He pokes his nose once again, coming up to La Source, and once again decides better against it.
Yeah, he just wants to apply that pressure to Michael de Turk and let Michael know that, you know, if you were willing to give Seveli Seppa the service, why are you not giving me the service? As Kela puts in actually Seppa puts in a 3/10 faster of a lap time than Marko Kela, so it's really on. But let's see what happens in the third place right now between de Turk and Partanen. Is de Turk gonna give it easy? Well, here you see Partanen moving to the outside, and Costa,
Three wide between them, but de Turk breaks late, and they go right back to the positions they were in. How did they not change anything after going 3 wide?
Well, these are Lotus 79 drivers. I guess they saw the situation, saw 3 wide, and I suppose the thing is that Partanen didn't want to really break too late on the outside, because he didn't want to be on the outside of Lecombe when it's 3 wide. De Turk realized that he has to either break very early or very late, and decided on very late. And Costa decided that, you know what, I don't fancy wrecking 2 other people in addition to myself. So that's how it happened.
That was a bad exit from Michael out of Speaker's corner, and Partanen had a little bit of a run down to Kuan, but then backed out of it as we hop on board with Pauli now, watching as he chases the blue number 10.
Yeah, and guess what? Because these guys are battling, and because Michael de Turk hasn't really found his pace just yet, it means that Jukka Tolonen and Mikko Leino behind them, and as well as Timothy Reed, who's doing some good lap times, are starting to catch up.
Once again, big slipstream for Pauli. And he's going to take a look, maybe? No, he's going to have to go around the outside, because de Turk once again defends. This time, though, he breaks later and eventually gets in behind him. Can't find his way around the outside, but look at the wheel spin coming off de Turk.
Yep, that's exactly what happens when you thunderfoot it a little bit too much. Shout out to Matt Malone there, thunderfooting a little bit too much at a slow corner. You're gonna get sideways, and that's gonna heat up your tires, and it's gonna make you a little bit uncomfortable even in the next corner. Thankfully for Michael, he was able to get a good exit of La Source, and as such doesn't really have Pauli to worry about going into a Rouge. But once you get into the Camel Straight, it's gonna be Partanen once again getting that slipstream.
And this time, I don't think they're going to be 3 wide, because Costa is way back there. So can he finally get this one done? Pauli has a nose ahead by the time they get to the braking, but he's just not confident enough on the binders, and he actually almost runs a little wide there.
Yeah, de Turk was squeezing him for all of that space, and I don't think Pauli quite had the confidence around the outside on the brakes. What he should have done is next time you get to the outside, Pauli, you just squeeze him back. You squeeze him to the middle of the track and take the space around the outside. As Tolonen is now starting to look really angry with Juanmi Costa starting to get into the pack and maybe looking for a potential podium here.
Costa chucked that one deep into Ravage. Thankfully, he was able to keep the position. That cost him some time with the battle in front of them. As we jump back to Parigi, still in a fight himself. He was battling with Lake earlier. Now Hovdal, who takes a late dive to try and poke his nose into Fany's, but nothing doing.
Yeah, great job by our director Ryan Bauer there, jumping into this battle. I saw it off the corner of my eye, and we were already there. Parigi and Hafdal fighting for 10th place, and they got Levoska chasing them as well. So if they don't get a move on soon, it's going to be Levoska catching them up. And great scenes here as we move back to the battle for 3rd place.
Once again, things getting hot down at the bus stop, but not as far alongside to Turk. It seems that Pauli can't quite get this position in his pocket. The 15 has been hounding him, though. The Turk dealing with the pressure quite well, but he has not been mistake-free.
No, but he's putting his car into the right place. What a tornado! My God! And I'm sorry, Pauli, you brought that onto yourself. How did they not have contact there?
Great heads up by De Turk. He gave him just enough space at the apex to keep himself from getting involved in that. And poor Partanen now falls to 12th because of his hubris in that moment.
Yeah, there is licking the stamp and sending it, and then there is drowning the stamp and yeeting it. And I think that was ladder from the apex of the corner. Although, to be fair, now that I'm looking at the replay, I think Pauli was a little bit caught out by the Turk's line. Maybe Michael was trying to get a good exit there, and Pauli was looking to the inside of the apex of the corner. But as a result of that, we have also a great battle for 9th place right now, and 10th place, and a little bit of contact as well.
Oh, yeah, there was contact between Hafdal and Parigi, so the second bit of contact with Parigi. Levoska is now going to try and take advantage of that as they come through Rivage, and he gets himself up into 9th. Partanen sees a few positions available for himself immediately after his spin.
Yeah, and Levoska started 21st. So he's 9th after 7 laps. This is just the 8th lap of the race. So I did warn you about this guy. He's good. He may not have the qualifying pace down yet, but he's good.
Yeah, clearly, he has got the race pace. Oh, big slide there from Hafdal, trying to catch it through Fany's. And they now work their way out of Stavlo. Big bobble from Partanen, lighten up the tires himself. He's got a fantastic run, though, and he's going to have the opportunity. Will they go too wide through Blanchemont is the question.
Well, he's looking to the inside, Pauli Partanen, and I think Hafdal would be wise to let up, and he did so. He just tucked in behind Pauli and wanted no part of that, and Pauli was really committed there. And if you're gonna make a move into a fast corner like that, that's exactly what you need. If you're gonna make an aggressive move, then do it aggressively, swiftly, and decisively. Because the worst thing you can do as a race car driver is to make an aggressive move in a passive manner. That's just gonna always lead to an accident.
And you were talking before we went live about the difficulty of this car and the new tire in the slow corners. We saw almost all 3 of them on screen there getting sideways coming off of the bus stop. So it does seem to be causing some issues for a number of our competitors here today as we go back to Parigi once again.
Yeah, and that's a great battle for around 9th place as Levoska is getting overtaken by Pauli Partanen. Hafdal is trying to follow Partanen, and then you see Parigi a little bit further back in his McLaren. Unfortunately for Levoska, he is able to hold on at least to the 10th place, and then Hafdal is gonna follow them. So it's a lot of Scandinavians in that particular battle, and Levoska getting a little bit wiggly. But yeah, we were talking about Partanen again.
Partanen spins it all on his own. Did he overheat the tires? Just sliding them around too much. And the 15 is now down to 14th position. This has been a bit of a disappointing day.
Yeah, let's see the revs here. I wonder if he shifted down to, right on the downshift. I don't think he was blipping the throttle quite enough. That's gonna happen really, really easily, especially if you try to brake a little bit late. And right when he was downshifting, most likely to the 2nd gear, the rear axle just locked up, and at that point you're a passenger. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
So we hop on board now with Marco Kela. And I'm glad we jumped here because I was just looking at the lap times. Seppa's closing a little bit, but I'm curious what it's been over the course of those last 5 laps. There we go. And yeah, okay, so Seppa relatively consistently is quicker.
Ironically, Marko Kela's surname means real in Finnish, but it's Seppa who is reeling that gap in right now, and it's coming down, it's coming down. Let's see these laps. 203.1 for Kela, 202.8 for Severi Seppa. It's yet another fastest lap of the race, and he's less than a second away from his qualifying time at this point, so he is really hauling it, and he can see the race win, Marko Kela, in his sights. But as they always say, Joe, catching up is one thing, passing is a whole different deal, especially when it's Marko Kela you're talking about.
Oh, Tolan is off in a big way through Lacombe. He was in a fight with De Turk, and he finds himself in the runoff. Let's see what caused this.
So he's looking for an overtake and run the outside going into Lacombe. Oh, there's just a tiny bit of contact between Jukka Tolonen, and I think that was Michael De Turk who was the other party in that one. And then Jukka Tolonen just went to look for the old circuit, I guess.
Yeah, they just, well, you said it earlier. He didn't leave a space, unfortunately. Squeezed him a bit too much. You got to watch out for the width of this car as we come back to the Turk. Still running in third place. Costa now has got to be looking at him a little bit circumspect at this point, hoping that he doesn't follow the same fate.
Yeah, and Costa was already once finding himself a little bit off track, as we saw on the opening laps. That's how he ended up in the 5th place in the 1st place. But now he's in 4th, right behind Michael De Turk, and trying to catch him up. But I do wonder if Costa has just a little bit of floor damage in that underbody from his earlier off-track excursion, as we are seeing the lead battle going on, because Costa's been remarkably slow, or I should say not as fast as he used to be.
Remember, Seppa was our pole sitter here today. So on one lap pace, he's our quickest driver. He's getting to within the half-second gap that you mentioned earlier it takes to get the slipstream as we go back to Costa now. So I'm kind of wondering if Seppa's going to start to feel it down the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, I wonder so too. And he's got time to make this move happen, certainly. Oh, they're getting close now between the leaders. And here comes Severi Seppa. He's looking to the inside. Kela's not going to fight it on the inside. Kela's just going to trust his brakes, brake a little bit later. And here comes Seppa to the inside. They're still side by side, but Kela's just able to hold on for now. But that was the first punch thrown.
Marco's not going to give this one up easily, it seems. Didn't defend like I thought he would, but he obviously felt confident enough going around the outside into Lacombe. Seppa will get other chances, I'm sure, with the way the slipstream has allowed battles to continue on today, as we once again go back to De Turk in 3rd, 5.5 seconds behind those top 2. Costa, Leno are the ones that are chasing him that you see behind. And let's not discount Timothy Reed, who seems to be rocking up to this fight.
Not at all. I was looking at his pace earlier on, and I was really impressed. He's come up from 13th all the way to 6th place. He's been putting in some good lap times. He's caught up to this draft train right now, and he seems to be very comfortable with this new tire. He wasn't quite up here last season. I remember him more from maybe lower mid-pack or driving around the mid-pack, but right now he's finding himself in 6th place, and he has a chance all the way up to podium, and he seems to be very comfortable with the way this car handles.
6th place in the top of 3 splits too, so yeah, that's some serious improvement. He likes his new tires, as Seppa likes them as well, but not enough to try and chuck it in down at the bus stop. Is he waiting for the Kemmel Straight yet again? He's got a lot of laps left. We're only just past halfway in this race, and we're getting ready to start lap 12 as well. So this is going to be a very tough ask for the number 4 to fend him off for this long.
Yeah, but Seppa was turning in a little bit too tight on the hairpin, on Lasor's hairpin, just on this lap, and he lost a bit of a run. Now, that's not gonna take the draft away from him, but that's a tiny little mistake from Severi Seppa. Let's see if Kela is gonna defend it to the inside this time around, though.
So far, he's not juking. Seppa takes the inside away, but that's just for the first apex. Kela took it back on the second apex. He started to fall back, though, a little bit, and the car slides, and Seppa is now back in the lead after his poor start.
no cutback this time around. Oh, sorry to chime in there. I was looking at Kela and he was primed in for the cutback, but he didn't want to go there. So I wonder if Marco Kela is just thinking about, okay, I'm not gonna battle Seppa too hard. I'm gonna save these tires just a little bit, and I'm gonna sit in his draft, and make sure that nobody from behind is gonna catch us up. Maybe that's his thinking. Maybe his thinking is that he will, find that position later, that he can now sit in the draft, see what Seppa does differently, and then find his way into the lead fight later on. Either way, the lead has changed hands.
And Mikko Leno, who we're riding on board with, had some contact himself. Hopefully he doesn't have damage on the nose. If we get a replay for the way into Lacombe, it was between, I believe, himself and Costa, as well as Deturk, who managed to hold this spot of third place. Let's see if we can see it here. Yeah, there's the side-by-side with Costa. And that is Deturk there, and he's just going to get into the back of him.
Yeah, but what happened to Costa? Because he was leading the pack at that point, and now he is now he's way out there. So something happened to Costa too. Here we see the onboard of it, but Mikko Leino sees as Deturk and Costa are side by side through the Lacombe complex. He's gonna be very close here, trying to pick up some bits and pieces, trying to get a good exit, but ends up hitting Deturk on the back instead, right around the gearbox region. And then something happened to Costa later on, because Costa is now sitting in the 6th place, if I'm not too much mistaken. Yeah.
He went off at no name, unfortunately. So
lead battle.
Yeah, this is Kayla taking it back, or at least attempting to, into Lacombe. Once again, he's got the nose ahead. He likes that left side into this turn. Oh, but he tries to turn in, and there's a car there. Seppa will deny him.
Yeah, Seppa absolutely denied him, and you could see Kela maybe looking to turn in a little. Yeah, he was turning in a little bit too early, and then he saw that Seppa was closing the inside line and had nothing to do with there. So maybe that's his plan. He's gonna try and take it into a battle, and who knows, maybe on lap number 21, when he's gonna be coming second into that Kemmel Straight, he will make that last lunge and then just hold on to the lead for the rest of the lap. Who knows? Maybe that's his plan, because he's clearly not going to win this race by pure pace, so maybe he's gonna win this race by battling.
So Reed's getting a real show in front of him, and that's allowing him to start to apply pressure to the number 11. As for Costa's incident a lap ago, I can tell you that he actually did touch the wall. So that's why you're seeing Ronnie start to drop back so much from this group. He might have a little bit of damage. Currently, it is Deturk still in third somehow, fending off all comers. Leno is in fourth, and Reed is in fifth.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting up quite a defense here, Michael Deturk, in that third place. And we were talking early on about how everybody seemed to be overtaking Michael left and right and center, and he even let Severi Seppa overtake him easily, and then it was just going to be a matter of time, and now we're over halfway through the race, and Michael Deturk is still holding on to that podium. So he really seems to want it, and the challengers just keep changing. He's like a boxing champion, holding on to that belt. And there's going to be a new challenger each and every time. It was Juan Costa, and then it was somebody else, Pauli Partanen, and then you had briefly other guys behind him, and now it's Mikko Leino who is looking at that podium place like, yeah, I fancy that. And it would be a great result for Mikko Leino as well. He's one of those guys I don't know that well, but obviously has the pace, was a top 10 runner in some of the races last season too, had some great results, and now a podium at the season opener at Spa-Francorchamps will be a great confidence booster for his season.
Oh, he's slow in a straight line though. Look at how much quicker Mikko is gaining. He runs out of track before they get to Lacombe and somehow catches the cars. I thought that thing was going to be going around. Sorry, we were watching onboard Marco there for a second.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I was kind of watching two battles as well, as Marco was getting closer to Severi Seppa, but didn't quite find that overtaking opportunity. And so it still status quo remains. Severi Seppa leading, Marco Kela second, and then it's that huge gaggle for the final podium position between Deturk, Leino, Reed and Costa. Sadly, nobody behind them is looking to catch up to that pack just yet, but still a four-way battle into a podium position is always great. I mean, Joe, we got a lead battle and we got a podium battle. What else do you want?
Yeah, this is good stuff here for the final few laps of the first round in the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series. And the New Yorker continuing to retain third place, or is it New Amsterdam? Well, regardless, that third place is nobody's business but the Turks, although he's going to have to fend off Mikko Leno one more time. Mikko not willing to take it side by side through Blanchimont. Will he try and challenge him into the bus stop chicane? Looks like he won't. And I heard that sigh, by the way.
Yeah, Michael, I think he would be better served to improve his qualifying so he can get that Constantino pole.
I like that. Well done, sir. As they come down into La Source one more time, and Leno will have that slipstream. I'm starting to think that Michael might have a little bit more wing, or he's carrying some sort of damage, because it seems like that red and white number 11 starts to catch him every long straight.
Yeah, so if he's carrying more wing, it's more of a red Istanbul setup. Okay, sorry, I'll stop now. But Michael de Turk is he's really struggling on a straight line here. He just can't get the speed, and of course Mikko Leno has the draft to use, and he's looking to the outside, but nothing to do there. Trying to cut back onto the inside, nothing to do there either, and really respectful between these guys. You can see how Mikko is working that wheel. He was very, very close, but he wasn't overshooting it. And in case he has more straight line speed, then it's not gonna manifest itself only at the Camel Straight, but it's also gonna come in handy at around Blanchimont. Getting a good run at Blanchimont and into the bus stop, you can really send it in there. If that's the case for Mikko Leno, that's gonna open a plethora of new opportunities for Mikko Leno to find his way into that final podium position. Now, the thing he has to watch out, as we are watching Severi Seppa and Marko Kela fight for the lead, the thing that Mikko Leno has to be wary of is that if he spends too much time fighting Michael de Turk, then it's gonna invite Timothy Reed and Juan Costa right back into the battle.
Yeah, that is for sure. And as we watch this Renault versus Williams fight for the win of the race, Marco's got a very good run, and Seppa has to defend up to the final chicane once again. Looks like Seppa is able to hold him back. He sends it in a little bit deep, but he parks it on the apexes, and there is no answer from Marco. It's side by side between Leno and de Turk as well into that same corner. I am a bit surprised. Oh, his wheel spin from Timothy Reed will cost him, and it looks like Costa is going to pounce on that one. He's going to have to finish the job, though, as they come up into La Source. He's got the inside as long as he can get the exit. Oh, he got a little wheel spin. This is questionable.
Yeah, this is questionable, especially as Reed is very close, but is he too close heading to a Rouge? Is he going to have to lift through the uphill here? Juan Costa, I think he lost a bit of ground, but he's still so close. And they're side by side for the lead, they're side by side for the third, and they're side by side for the fifth. Crazy.
Everywhere to look, but Marco was successful this time. He takes the lead back, and de Turk is able to fend off Leno successfully. Costa is not able to get Reed, so we are 0-1-0 as far as passes.
Yeah, so Marko Kela leading this race now. Severi Seppa in second place is sure that, okay, now that Marko has shown that, okay, I can overtake here, I can try for an overtake into Camel Straight, I can try for an overtake into the bus stop. Now Severi Seppa has to find his overtaking mode. He has the pace over Marko Kela when they're both in clear air, but does he have the overtaking ability of Marko Kela? Because Marko is a great fighter, he's an aggressive fighter, but when he's on it, he's also a great fighter. So it can get very interesting between the leaders as Seppa gets very sideways there. Wow.
And that was costly because now they come out of Stavelo into the long run up to Blanchimont. So he's not going to be feeling that slipstream. Kayla has the chance to pull away. So we look back to de Turk and Leno once again. Mikko, from what we've seen, should be able to start to reel him in. Michael, though, not losing as much ground as I would have expected. I'm a bit surprised, I wanted to say earlier, that Mikko, with the better straight line speed as far as we can tell, has not had an easier time making this pass.
No, but de Turk is so great on the braking. That's his real strength. He can send it so late on the braking, and he can just hold on to his line, and he is committed, and he is consistent. So it's even if you get a little bit ahead on a straight line, you still kind of have to be aware that, okay, you're making the move, it's your responsibility to keep it safe. And if a guy is so consistent on the braking, has had so much chance to practice his braking, then you're always going to be a little bit more wary. Whereas Michael de Turk has the experience working as his advantage. As you can see, Kela there wiggling and weaving a little bit on a straight line, not quite allowing Seppa to catch up to him. But and that's a big slide. Yeah, tires are definitely starting to wear out now. But yeah, I think Seppa is a little bit faster on a straight line, even by his own, because I didn't think he had the draft at the run through Blanchimont last time around, and he was a couple of k's an hour faster.
Leaving 2 long black streaks coming out of Lecumbe. Marco is on it, so is Seppa. They're down to 5 laps to go, 4.5 essentially at this point. I'm very surprised that Marco was able to get this spot back and really insert himself into this race. The way he was caught by Severi, I figured that our pole sitter had the measure of everybody else in this race on race pace as well as 1 lap pace. As we once again look at the battle that will not die back here. Here is Tolinen. Apologies that we haven't been able to cover this as much. Partanen, Lavoska, and Havdal all fighting for 9th. 8th.
Yeah, and Havdal's gonna be feeling like he is lost and ended up in a sauna with the 3 Finns who are just adding the heat all the time, throwing more and more water into the stones, just chanting some weird Finnish things like Lisää löylyä, and you know, he's just gonna try to stand the heat here, and so far he's the one who is outside of that top 10, but for how long? Because he's getting a great run onto Levoska as we follow the lead battle now.
I'm sorry, what is this Finnish chant?
Löylyä lisää. Löyly is the Finnish word for the water you throw over the stones at sauna, and lisää means more.
Ah, okay.
It's nothing explicit.
Okay. As we now see Lavoska falling a bit away from Partanen, who looks to challenge Tolinen, but nothing doing into La Source. Great exit there from Jukka, who just streaks away.
And here we see the leaders, because Severi Seppa is looking to the outside, and is he going to make the move? Marco Kela. Oh, he's just side by side still. They're turning right. Marco Kela on the inside, Severi Seppa on the outside, over the curbs. Is he gonna be able to take this position away? Marco is gonna fight him onto the hairpin. No way, they're still side by side, Joe.
Is this going to go through Speaker's corner? No, just not enough grip there, and Marco has to give up the ghost. He gets a little bit of a better exit. He thinks about an Ipuhan and realizes that might not be a great idea. So Seppa back up to the top spot. He takes a little bit of a wide run through there, cops himself an incident point. Hopefully he's got enough here in the final stages, because this has suddenly gotten intense.
It has gotten very intense, and that reminded me of that one time when Joni Takanen and Joni Beckman went side by side from the Kemmel Straight all the way to, I think, Fahn's corner here at Spa. They went half a lap side by side for the lead, and Gellot Fritsch was following behind them like, what are you doing, guys? But it was great and it was respectful, and I think it ended up in a couple of highlight reels. So I wonder if Severi and Marco are gonna give us some of that Joni versus Joni experience as the laps wind down here at Belgium.
Joni Beckman, that is a name that I have not heard in a long time. As we jump back to Tolinen once again, looks like he keeps himself at arm's length from Partanen as they come up towards Blanchimont. Lavoska has been trying to climb his way forward from 21st, made it all the way into the top 10. Can he go any higher, as Partanen is on a recovery drive himself, and a defense from Tolinen will keep him at bay.
For now at least, but here comes Partanen to the outside. At La Source, he's not alongside. Is he gonna send it to the inside? No, he's not. And Levoska's following them, and Havdal is following them. So it's still that 4-car train, and 2 of the first cars are sliding through the La Source hairpin. So that's very interesting, and that's also the reason why they are so slidey and slippy in the slow corners, is due to how stiff the car is and how little mechanical grip it has.
A little bit of a look there for the lead, but I was also making some noises at Tolinen and Partanen nearly going off track. They're side by side right now. That's Partanen to the inside, but deeper on the brakes and finding the grip somehow. Tolinen denies him. Behind them getting checked up. Antti can't find any place to go, and poor Havdal as well is plugged up.
Yeah, Hafdal is like, come on guys, settle it out. Somebody crash out, I need some space, because he's in the last place, and that is a great position if you wanna like watch the action, what's happening, and plot out your moves. But when you got 2 laps to go, as they come across the start-finish line, they got 2 laps to go, that's no longer where you wanna be. You would want to be ideally 1 or 2 places ahead so you could make the move for the lead of the pack, instead of in the last place of the pack. And now he's in a place where he can't really easily find any moves, because the guy ahead of him, Levoska, is getting a 2-car draft as well, and ahead of them it's gonna be side by side. So where are you gonna go?
Well, wherever there's an opening in his case, I assume. Meanwhile, we come back to Marco on board with him. Oh, we've had an incident. De Turk and Leno come to tears in Blanchimont.
Oh.
I'm going to assume there's some contact involved.
Yeah, that was very heavy damage, and you can see Leno round the outside trying it at Blanchimont, and oh no! Oh my god, that's a plane crash.
And people wonder why we need that paved runoff out there at the exit of the corner. As we come back live, we got some side-by-side action for the lead. Severi Seppa being challenged by Marco Kela. He's got a nose ahead, but he's on the outside. He's liked that spot before and has defended successfully. Can he attack successfully? No.
Not quite, but Kela was so close already at the start of the straight. I think Seppa made a mistake to Ronnie on, because Kela was so close already at the start of the straight. He was getting the run too soon and got bogged down at the straight as he had to pull out. And Kela locking up the brakes, and they're really fighting. I mean, these tires have to be overheating at this point. Kela is getting closer and closer, but just can't find a way through Severi Seppa, and Seppa is still holding on to that lead. But this is a very precarious position to be in when you come to the last lap, because of that run through the Kemmel straight.
And they are going to be 1 lap to go pretty soon, so time is running out. Can Marco make this stick? I can't even pick who is the stronger one in this. I would have told you Seppa earlier on in this race, but Marco has been coming back with a vengeance and has been doing his darndest to try and take that lead away from his fellow Finn. As we look back to Tolinen, who has been promoted now up to 6th place because of that big wreck we just watched.
Yeah, and Partanen is behind him in 7th place, and Hafdal has gotten past Levoska, so they're 8th and 9th respectively at this stage. Is Partanen gonna try and move onto the bus stop chicane? Because, oh, look at him wiggling. Look at Partanen just wiggling behind Tolonen. That's so strange. I think he's trying to check for damage. I think he's concerned about his underbody. Either way, Partanen looking to the outside, looking once again to the outside. Gonna send it in late, but Tolonen is also braking late and just gonna force and put some pressure in there into Jukka Tolonen as they soon come to the last lap, because Partanen, he's really on it and he wants that 6th place. I know he probably wanted more from this race, podium, maybe a win, but 6th place, it's still a battle.
White flag is out, and Kayla knows it. He's actually going to take the inside this time. Seppa wants to defend the long way around coming into the corner. Will this bite him, though? Nose ahead for Marco, and the number 4 is back into P1.
But is there gonna be a cutback? Because Kela goes very wide, he's wiggly, and Seppa looking to the inside, onto the hairpin they come, and Marco Kela just leaves him enough room. Here comes Seppa, but he's gonna be on the outside into Speaker's corner, and he's gonna get a great exit, and Kela is again very slippery. Are they gonna come side by side through Pujon? No, I think Seppa is gonna pull out of this one. He's gonna wait all the way until Blanchimont to make his decisive move. What a battle we got in our hands here, Joe. Who's your pick? I'm gonna pick Seppa still.
I gotta go with Marco then, but those tires are looking pretty shoddy at this point. Around the outside into Fanny's. No! What a pass from Seppa! How did he make that stick?
Have you ever?
I have never. The 4 is back into 2nd place once again, and they have only a few more corners to go. The downhill past the old pits is where the finish line is, and Severi Seppa in the lead has to fend off Marco Kela. Can he make the pass into the bus stop chicane, or will he have to do it into La Source? A defense from Severi Seppa holding the inside into this last little right and then left. He's better on the brakes as Marco tries to undercut him, looks for the exit. I don't think he's got it.
I don't think he's got it either. They're gonna come to Lasor's hairpin, and Marco's gonna have to take an almighty swing, or it's gonna be a mistake from Seppa. Seppa cutting into the inside nicely, getting a little bit sideways. Marco Kela following, but the checkered flag waves, and it waves for Severi Seppa here at Spa. Wow!
What a last lap between those two. They have got to be grinning ear to ear. Juan Costa, by the way, has pulled off into the distance for an easy third. Behind him, Williams a quiet fourth. Then you can see the battle. Oh, as a slide from Tolan and somehow holding onto the car. Wants to get away from him. He'll hold off Lavoska, who gets up to 7th place. That was incredible stuff. Oh, and Partanen has to take a penalty. Partanen pulls into the pits on the last lap.
I think he ran out of incidents, and Timothy Reed spun on the last lap at Stavelo as well from 4th place.
Crazy developments from our field. Pi is going to be our last one on the lead lap in this race, but we're going to catch a breath here. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. We are going to watch this last lap one final time. Ozzy, talk us through your two countrymen going at it hammer and tongs. I know that phrase gets used a lot, but I feel like it's appropriate here.
It very much is. So you can see here, Kela is getting a great run, and he goes to the inside. Seppa chose not to defend it. I don't think Seppa was aware of where Kela was going to go. They're going to go side by side through Lacombe here, and Kela does a great job of holding his speed around the outside. But here you can see him getting a little bit skittery. Great save over the curbs. Seppa's going to look to the inside, as you do there, but it's going to be very difficult to hold the speed and get a good exit down on the inside, especially as Kela was able to recover quickly. And here he gets a great run once again, courtesy of Kela running wide, but there Seppa just doesn't have the room really to the inside of Pujon. So what does he do? He plots his next move. The expected place where you're gonna make a pass is at Blanchimont going into bus stop. But he makes the pass around the outside and really caught Marco Kela sleeping a little bit there. He saw that Kela's tires were maybe overheating. He caught him sleeping, planted his car right to the middle of the racetrack, gave Kela absolutely zero room to make a cutback move, and then into Blanchimont. It's gonna be all about the exit from Stavelo here, and he gets a great one. And Kela here, he's gonna look, okay, I'm gonna make the move under braking, but he kinda catches him a little bit too quickly. You can see here that he's close to Blanchimont, but you can't make a pass here. And then as they exit the corner, He has no room on the inside because Seppa's gonna block that off, so he's gonna go to the outside. But then Seppa is great on the braking and cuts all the way across the track, and this is where Kela needed to be great, but he gets maybe a little bit too sideways, can't get the power down, and after that it's game, set, and match Seppa.
I know they're Finns, but I have to think that their hearts were just pounding through their chest that entire lap. And that's going to take us to the results here. As you can see, Seppa taking the win here today for the season opener. Kela in second with Costa rounding out your podium. We didn't get to mention it because there was so much happening. Williams went from 14th to 4th and Hovdal from 22nd to 5th in the top split. That's going to be a huge iRating gain for those two. Tolinen was 6th with Lavoska in 7th, also from 21st. Timothy Reed was a P8 today. Seiverts was in 9th and Benoit finished in 10th.
That's what he did. And Pauli Partanen gonna finish 11th. He's gonna be disappointed after today. And Kartik Pai, the last driver on the lead lap actually. Then we get drivers a couple of laps down. Michael De Turk, Antonio Rees, Mikko Leino, Alessandro Paricci, Dylan Freckleton, and Loic Barb, with the retired drivers being Philip Lake, Sebastian Morin, Javier Lamos, Alex Milward, Thomas Torp, Uwe Trengeride, and Teemu Vaskilampi. A lot of attrition here today, but it didn't feel that way.
Our focus was firmly on the leaders the whole time. Apologies to most of those in the mid-pack that we didn't really get to cover much of it, but there was so much happening within the top 5 here today. Sadly, none of them have seen fit to come join us here. I guess everybody's still talking amongst each other, trading stories of what must have been a classic for everybody involved. So hopefully we'll get to talk to a few of them next week. In the meantime, we'll have to close up shop. And a big thank you goes out to the Lotus 79 community for bringing us back for another season of coverage. And I forgot that it started all with that wreck, both into Eau Rouge as well as before No Name in this race. But in the meantime, we want to give a big thank you to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. Thanks again to the team, Ozzy, Ryan, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media there on the screen. Check out our merchandise store at simracingmerch.com/GSRC. We keep a link in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment. Definitely don't miss next week, which will be Road America Sunday, September 26th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. And up next this evening, the Precision Racing League NASCAR Cup Series is back at Bristol to kick things off. That's going to be wild. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.